If you knew that this was a big part of what you came here to do,
Hmm.
like if you knew that in addition to being a mother and a wife and these parts that you're really fulfilling right now, that you had a big mission and purpose here to share something with people, with the world, how would you approach your life differently?
Welcome to The Way of the Muse, a podcast for women who want to create richness in every area of their lives, from business and career to lifestyle, relationships, family, purpose, and fulfillment. I'm Gigi Sage.
And I'm McKenna Sage. We're a mother-daughter coaching team, and combined, we've spent over 4 decades helping people create their best and most fully expressed lives. If you're ready to step into your bigger dreams with ease, fun, and flow, you're in the right place. Let's get into the episode.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We're here with another very special on-air coaching episode. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah,
Welcome.
thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
we're
you.
excited to work with you today.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So we're just going to dive right in as
Yeah,
we
let's go for it. So I read some of your questionnaire and thank you so much for sharing. And so I'm just curious, what's working in your life right now?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Fulfilling my dream of becoming a mother and a wife.
Awesome. Nice. Yeah.
Um, Living in a safe place to
Mhm.
raise my son.
Mhm.
That's working. Yeah, I might need a few more questions to keep
Okay.
going.
Okay. Yeah. 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 So in that, okay, so then it sounds like a lot of that is centered around your baby and in terms
Mhm.
of, yeah, yeah. So you're feeling strong and secure in the sense of having, yeah,
Yes.
your baby. Yeah. Awesome. Well, that's very
Yeah.
important because that for a mama is so, so important to have that feeling that they're the child secure, that you're in a safe place. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then as far as for you, I'd seen a lot of things that, you had shared in terms of kind of challenges and things you're dealing with. But I'm going to set those aside for a moment and I'm going to ask you if you didn't have those challenges, what's your bigger dream?
Hmm. My bigger dream is my biggest dream.
Okay. Can you keep your eyes open so we can see them? Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
sometimes it's just easier for me to visualize if I close
Mhm.
them. Um, yeah, so my biggest dream would be living somewhere in nature in a big, beautiful home with my family
Mhm.
and living around other like-minded people to kind of create a village and having creating wealth and legacy in my life through something that I offer of my own services.
Mhm.
So not working for somebody else. I love leading people. I love exploring the world and the mysteries of life. And I'm just not sure what product that would be around, but that would be my dream is to have an offering of that nature.
Mhm.
And just being able to enjoy all the riches of life, harvesting food from the earth, being connected with nature, and raising my son and possibly future children in that setting.
Nice, nice.
Having
I see
freedom.
having freedom. Okay, so that's freedom for you.
Hmm.
Yeah, because it's really important to see what freedom is for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you see there, McKenna? Where'd you see the most light?
I saw the most light with exploration, and it sounded like that wasn't just like exploring as in travel or something, but also exploration in terms of what else were you saying there? Like,
Oh yeah, exploration of yeah, just the mind, the heart, navigating the invisible of
Mm,
life.
yeah, yeah,
light there.
yeah. Definitely some light there, and definitely your face changed a little bit. It relaxed. Yeah, I can
I
definitely
felt it
see.
actually.
Yeah, I can definitely see that definitely see that for you. Yeah, yeah. So then in doing that, what could be the first step? Because that creation doesn't sound so far off, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you were to approach it and say, okay, this is what I want. I know this. What's the baby step, the first step to go after this? What would you do?
This is where I get stuck for
Okay,
sure.
good. Awesome.
Um, I would say to immerse myself more in in that realm per se.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
like learning, absorbing more information. I do that already actually,
Mhm.
but I don't do it in a sense of how can I like take this in and then create something around it to offer out. So
Mhm.
I'm not using that type of mechanism when I'm thinking about it. I'm kind of just like done what I've always done, which is like absorb it because I'm so curious. So it would
Mhm.
be, I think it would probably just begin to change the way I'm thinking about
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
But
Which
other
would
than that,
be,
I
how would you
definitely
think
need
about it? How would you think about it?
um how can I take all this and create something of value that I can then offer
Mhm.
people that would enrich their life, that would bring them more happiness. I do believe a big part of what my work maybe is helping to bring understanding. Um, because with I feel like that's the biggest hurdle is understanding.
Understanding in what way? What do you mean by that?
Understanding, it's kind of a lot of the invisible, right? So it's hard to describe, but it's really just like understanding the greater spiritual nature, I guess you could say, of our being and how we can navigate that and create a beautiful, even more beautiful life through it.
Mhm. What do you see there, McKenna?
I mean, again, I think there's some curiosity, yeah. And as far as so navigating, so you said exploring all this, and then you talked about really kind of like synthesizing, right? Like
That's a
learning
good
from
word.
this place of like not just that you're learning for you and your own curiosity, but kind of putting this other lens on things that you're going, if I were stepping into something where I was going to start to share at some point, how would I be learning and absorbing in a different way here?
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, oh.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think that's really beautiful, but I also see the environment piece. I've seen this with you because I've worked with you a little bit. The environment piece for you, I think, is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So is there a way, a baby step to start to move you into a place that would you feel more grounded, alive?
Yeah. Um, I think it really would just be me needing to like physically move my body into like a more outdoor like natural space.
Mhm.
And I do have a really beautiful backyard and I'm looking at it right now actually. And if I just go maybe spend time journaling and listening to these things or reading these things in terms of content that I'm very curious about, I feel like that would open up kind of like a portal for me to be able to synthesize that information differently.
Would you do that?
Would I?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
totally do that.
Yeah.
I have a question. If you knew that this was a big part of what you came here to do,
Hmm.
like if you knew that in addition to being a mother and a wife and these parts that you're really fulfilling right now, that you had a big mission and purpose here to share something with people, with the world, how would you approach your life differently?
Another great question. Um, I probably the first thing that comes to my mind is just approaching it as if I don't have all the time in the world,
Mhm.
because currently I am allowing the priorities of others to go before mine. So, and many times they need to because I have a son and I'm a wife. But that being said, I would need to prioritize and carve out space to create this and work on this and put energy towards it. I would have to start approaching every day like that.
Mhm.
Do you see how you would start to do that?
Yeah, I can. Yep. Something that I have every day is my son's nap time.
Mhm.
And that is the time where I could prioritize putting energy and time towards this instead of putting it towards all the other things that I usually do for the household or for the family.
Yeah. And imagine you've done that. Let's just say you've done that for the last, 2 weeks. And then imagine how you're going to feel about all the other things. Can you see that?
When you say all the other things,
A household and everything you said. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I would feel more excited, I think, to do them because I would have more fuel in I would have more water in my cup, and um, something I'm working on is trying to get to the mindset of I get to do this, instead of I have to. And I think that would really help me um, be able to implement that mindset more. It's like, okay, now I get to go help my family. I get to go take care of chores. I get to do laundry. I get to do bills. I think it would really help. It would light me up. It would lighten me up as well because I would feel like I'm fulfilling something for myself and moving more towards my life purpose, which is the thing I'm having the biggest challenge with right now.
Yeah. 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 So I see that honestly, you're very clear about what you want.
Yeah.
You're very clear. It's just a matter of, like you said, of finally isolating it out and going. I mean, that's a beautiful question that McKenna asked because you can step right into it then. You can step into it. How long is the baby sleep? 2 hours?
Yeah.
2 hours. You have 2 hours a day to step into that part of yourself. And again, 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, in a month. McKenna, can you help me with that one?
5 to
40 hours.
10 hours.
40,
Yeah, 40 hours.
40 hours. Wow.
That's a full work week every month.
Yeah.
That is. Mind you, I have to rest. However, yes. In theory, yes. Even if it was 1 hour.
Even
Absolutely.
if it was 1 hour, that's 20 hours a week. Yeah.
That's a lot. That's
Yeah.
a lot.
20
I
hours.
meant 20 hours a week, 20 hours a month. Sorry. So
Yeah.
that is a commitment to you, and you're at the hub in the center of everything. So it's so, so, so important.
Mm.
Your energy is the barometer for your son, for every piece of your life, because you're the mama in the space there.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you really, really have to come first. And if this is the way you can come first right now, this is the most important thing in your whole life.
Mm. Yeah. I feel that.
Mhm.
Because
feel
that
that.
question I asked wasn't rhetorical. You
Mm.
do have that mission. That's the thing.
No.
And you know that deep down.
Mm-hmm.
And you're acting in some ways, not purposefully, but you're acting like that's not true
Mm-hmm.
or that you questioning. But the truth is, when we get down to it, like Gigi said, you know exactly. And it's just to really lean into that and go, okay, I take this on. This is something I'm here to do. It's another part of what I'm here to do. And then you start living in accordance with that.
That's like, yeah, yes. And is that in some way kind of what we were talking about last week, which is like make the decision, commitment, and then the universe converges around you,
Mhm.
inspires.
Yeah, absolutely. It is that sense of finally committing to, since you know this is like an energy line for you, you're absolutely clear about that. Then by committing and going for it, then opportunities, new ways of seeing, even the space of like looking for your, when you talked about a certain place to live and where you want to live, that will open you up to start to go, okay, how can I create that? You're going to be in a different kind of mindset there. And not only mindset, again, it's vitality. Remember, we talked about that. Because you're doing something that you're curious about and that you love, energy, vitality is going to come into you. And through that, perspective starts to shift. Inspiration dawns.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you may be out at lunch one day, you meet someone and they say, oh, we live together on da 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 da. And you go, oh, wow, really? That's something I'm curious about, you know? I'd love to go see what you guys are doing.
Yeah, and that I'm glad you said that because um having those little synchronicities in
Mhm.
life is something that used to occur for me on a regular basis,
Yeah.
essentially for as long as I can remember since I was a child. And it's, I think when COVID hit, that really like cinched it,
Yeah.
but it never really came back so much
Yeah.
after that. And it's scary for me because I'm so used to having those type of synchronicities where the universe is reflecting back to me that I'm on the right path.
Yeah.
So I think that's just a little piece of, or maybe it's a bigger piece of just why I haven't committed and started taking the steps because I guess I've been waiting for something external, which is you right here. Well, there you go. For me to then put a stake down. And I think this would probably be the first time in my life where I've really had to take a bigger step on my part.
Yeah. And that you have to understand too, like when I read your questionnaire, you've gone through a lot of changes and a lot of life differences, changes, and personal loss. And so life is very different. And that's also, you know, you're in a different stage in life. Before you weren't responsible probably for somebody else, right?
Yeah.
And so in that what happens often is, especially for stages, your first baby, is women kind of get this feeling they lose themselves. You know, you've forgotten,
Mhm.
you can't quite feel into who you are anymore. And so that's again why it's so important to find those places where you know what you want, or those places that bring you alive, and immerse yourself in those. Because as we've said in several of our podcasts, that begins to create you to be more in alignment with where you're supposed to be going. That opens up the possibilities for synchronicities. But you don't want to look for the synchronicities. You want to immerse yourself in the vitality.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's the key right there.
Yeah, because that, you know how that is. Oh, I need this. I want this, you know, and it's not going to come. Now you're learning that you do have to step in. You have to own your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a new part, but that's also a very fun part. I just got off a session talking to her about how that is the stepping into, I think, womanhood, is that you get to guide your life the way you want it, along
Mm.
with God, the universe. But you get to really, really, really choose now.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, that's the truth. I think you nailed it. Yeah, like before when I didn't have a responsibility outside of myself, like another human, I naturally just flowed in those places
Oh,
that created the vitality, places full of vitality for me. And that's where I would just keep going down the path because I had nothing else that I was responsible for, you know? But now that I have my son and I'm and a new wife, newly wife, it really takes so much more to decide to step out and intentionally do it and go and sit in those places and go and create those mini vacations and to schedule that spa appointment. And it's just not part of my natural flow yet
mhm.
again.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's not for me personally. Yeah, no, I'm struggling with it. It's not coming natural to me.
Right. Yeah. 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 You're not the only one. So, yeah. Yeah. Just know it is then almost like you have to look and go, okay, or not have to, you get to, like you said, you get to look and go, okay, I fit this in. I start with this baby step, and that baby step that rhythm will also make you be curious about starting the next thing.
Mm,
Mhm.
yeah. I'm a
Yeah.
big picture person, so I'm trying to find the value in the baby steps in the first step.
Mhm.
And I think it's ironic because I have a toddler who I'm literally watching go baby steps as he
Yeah.
grows. So he's a great teacher, but
Mhm.
I think I struggle to get excited about the first step
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
because my vision and my nature is to look at the big. And so I think that's another huge lesson for me out of this that I'm getting is finding the value
Mhm.
and the necessity of the first step and getting excited about it.
I don't think you have to find all that value in everything. I think you just have to do
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
And one way of looking at the big picture too is go to the end of your life, look back at this time and this moment and go, wow, I'm so glad I took that first step.
Yeah.
Mm,
That's a very simple, big picture way of looking back at the small steps.
yeah, that's great.
I'm so glad I didn't wait and put it off and think I had all the time in the world. Maybe you do have, you have many, many years ahead of you, but still, I'm so glad I started then
Yeah.
because look at what that led to.
Mm.
Yeah.
And this is a beautiful time too. I don't know if you journal, but also to write down because there's a lot of women going through this too, first time moms, right? And maybe they're at home and they were career women and that it's a little shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you write down because you can really share through your work as you move forward. Share with other moms like this is how I navigated this. This is what was so important. These are the feelings I was having.
Mm,
Not alone. Because I know a lot with first time moms when they make the shift, a lot of times if it feels like you're really, really alone in the situation. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Nobody else is
Yeah.
going through it. Mm.
Yeah. And it feels like I'm sure every generation feels this way. I know I'm not special, but it
Yeah.
feels like like my mother's generation, which would be your generation, did it so flawlessly.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
seemed so, at least. Y'all did it with a lot of grace, and I look back and I'm doing a comparison thing, and it's not healthy. It's not
Um,
healthy.
Did what flawlessly?
Oh, being a mother, transitioning into motherhood, like doing all the things, right? And being
mm.
able to still with seeming ease, like always showing up, always, never missing a beat. And it feels like in this generation I do know a few other mothers that are struggling with this a bit.
Mhm. Mhm.
But it just feels like more challenging overall for my generation, and maybe that is something that I can help with.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if that's something that you feel strongly about, I don't know if that distinction is so important more than the distinction of just not comparing and just saying, how do we navigate with what we're dealing with right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because almost the comparison makes you a little bit into a victim.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to say women have to navigate, and, I'm finding it very challenging because of these different aspects. How do we do this and really create the way we want to and build our lives and our relationships and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. 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 So I think we should look at the how in this for you. So how will you approach it? So if it's hard for you to make that, like you said, that first step, how will you approach these lunch or these not lunch, but these nap
Yeah.
time creations?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great idea. So I just need to decide and commit to which part of the nap. And
Okay.
that way I know and I have a little schedule, in place, a plan. So I think I should actually probably do it right after he goes down
Hmm.
when my energy's still moving the most.
Yep.
and then go and center myself out there and then dive into it and then spend the second part of the nap resting or taking care of whatever else I need to take care of. So creating a plan, and that's my plan.
Yeah. Mhm.
And then creating a little, like a little sanctuary, mini sanctuary pop-up space for
I
myself.
think that's a great idea. That's fun. Yeah. So it's a place you go and sit and you're part of. So tell us about that. What would that be?
Yeah. I would, yeah, I would get one of my favorite throw blankets and put it out in the corner of our yard, which has a lot of beautiful trees and flowers and shade. And go ahead and just bring out whatever device I am that listening to the content on. Definitely a journal to write things down and not type into a computer. I think that's important for me to start to keep me more connected to the environment around me. And yeah, and then just maybe some water and a few snacks and kind of bless the space when I sit there. So maybe a few crystals and oh, I'll even light some sage. I haven't done that
Nice.
in a long time.
That's
You
cool.
Yeah,
want to try your video again? You want to try turning it on again?
sure.
It works. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just talking this morning in our mastermind call about the hero's journey and really seeing your life through the lens of the hero's journey. And I'm a big fiction and fantasy reader. And my favorite part of the hero's journey was always, or like in every story, right, that follows kind of this arc, was always this time when the student met the guide and they were going through the training period, basically. They were learning to activate their superpowers, their magic powers. And it might be fun for you to see this as the beginning of that time for you, right? Is like they've been there all along, dormant, right? But you're starting to activate them and working with different guides, us and others, right? To start to learn and absorb and practice and create so that you can step into then your bigger adventure here.
I love that.
It's nice.
That was
Really nice.
great.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's beautiful. What are you going to do when it rains?
Great question.
Very
I
practical,
didn't, I,
Judy.
I love that.
I
I
just
love
don't
that
want
you
to
just
hear, oh, it rained all last week.
oh, how funny. Okay, that's a great question. If it rains, I'll just do it in my office space.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
by the
same thing.
window.
Okay. And same thing as set that up as an optional space with some intention.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crystals, if you need nice music, whatever that is, really look and see. So that's fun for you in the next couple of days is to get those environments, really get your things together, all the things you're collecting and have your little ready to go, right?
Yeah.
And then intentionally set it back so it's there. So for the next day. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm a game person. So I always like to say, do it for 30 days and then look and go, okay, let me see what's worked, what hasn't worked here. What do I want to tweak? What do I want to do next?
Yeah. Yeah. And that'll be another challenge for me to overcome is the consistency, specifically since becoming a mother. So continuing to choose to make time and honor my commitment and not allow other things to start to creep in and kind of like take over that priority space that I have set for myself. So that will be a challenge as I do that, but I love that challenge and I'm committed to it. I like the 30 days idea.
Yeah. That will be a challenge. Let me think about that. When you do this, what will this mean for you? Kind of like what McKenna said, when you look back, and you're older and you look back to this time. Or maybe the question is, if you don't do it, what will it be in 30 days? How will your life be in 30 days?
The same it is right now. Nothing will change. Yeah.
And if that continues on for 2 years, which I know seems like a long period of time, but it's not inconceivable, right? That
No, we
month
watch people do it all the time. Yeah.
and another month goes by, then how will you feel or what will your experience be 2 years from now?
Probably anxiety and depression around it.
Mhm.
The anxiety of knowing that I'm long overdue for starting, and the depression of just the missed time of what
Mhm.
could have been created.
Now, the funny thing about this is you doing this actually is the most kind, beautiful thing you can do for your baby in the whole world.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
The happy mom, energetically, that goes into your baby every single day. Yeah. And I know that's a little, like, oh, an unhappy mom, it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So true.
So instead of approaching it as a challenge, it could be to approach it as just finally
Mm-mm.
making you a priority, choosing Jordan every day.
Yeah, that's a good distinction right there.
Yeah, I'm going to choose me today.
Mm.
And the other thing is if you don't one day, you don't make that mean that you stop and you failed and you all of that. You just pick up and you do it the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About continuous baby steps over time, right? Continuous forward movement over time creates, then one day you're walking. Then one day you see that with your baby. One day he's walking and then keeps trying to talk and keeps trying to talk. And then one day he starts making words.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're right. I literally have the best teacher in the world for this right now.
Absolutely.
I didn't really notice that until this call. And now I think I can actually put that lens on and
Yeah.
and 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 I think that'll be really good for me.
And look at it too, like this. If you look and you go, okay, 5 days a week feels like too much. I do it 4 days a week. And then that fifth day is the day I really, if I have more things to do, I want to rest more, then I have that time.
Yeah.
But choose, and as much as possible, if you can, really, really go for it and keep your word with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, there'll be, and again, you can reflect back 30 days, get yourself a calendar, mark them off as you go, and applaud yourself. After 30 days, you can really reflect and go, okay, what's working, what's not working here? How would I like to shift this? What do I see? What's the next step in this? Now I've collected all these ideas. Now is it time to start creating, going, okay, what if I did this? I did this.
And that's where you also have the support, right? You're in the collective. So you
Yeah.
have the biweekly calls, you have a container there and a community there. So you check in with us and you have a way to, to continue to move that forward.
Yeah.
Have a sounding board.
Yeah, that's true. I do have all of the pieces right
Yeah.
now, currently in my life to support it. And it's just a matter of me taking advantage of those and really, yeah, I even have the calendar. It's been so ironic, actually. Like I think it was right after the beginning of the year. I saw one of those at Staples, the big wall
Big
calendar.
ones. Yeah.
Quick ones.
Yeah.
I was like, I need that.
Yeah.
And my husband's like, okay, are you really going to write on it? And I was like, yes. And I have not. And it's been sitting under my desk, but I feel like, okay, that's what I bought that for.
That's
Mhm.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Pull
I
that out.
literally, after this call, will just go pick it up and finally put it
Mhm.
on the wall. And oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so here we're not going to go. We take it, especially on these calls, to go in little pieces, because if we go in too deep, then it would be a much longer call, right? So this first piece is just, again, to get you started, to get you getting more clarity just by being in that energy and vitality of you doing something, by creating a little bit of a schedule, by starting to keep your word to yourself, which is powerful. And like I said, I'm really choosing you every day. And then this pattern and what we're sharing with you, you can see you can start to use this in different ways then in your life. Yeah.
Mm.
So you can take the same thing in the second month and go, how do I want to approach this now?
Mm,
Knowing again from this context of I do have a mission here and something I'm here to do. What is my next step?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
and I do want to just share because coming into the call, and I won't go deeply into anything you shared in your questionnaire, but you had a lot of questions around what's blocking me, what's holding me back, right?
Mhm.
And we didn't go into that deeply in this call, but here's why is something that we are sharing about in an episode, which may have aired at this point or maybe not, is that we don't want to solve for the problems or look at the blocks. We go to what do you want? And then that creates a different context for everything in your life to organize around. When you do this, like Gigi's saying, for 30 days, then your perspective changes. You start to see things differently. And that is the power of knowing what you want, going for it, and then putting energy into what brings you alive.
Mm,
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Because when I read your questionnaire, I said, I don't do that.
We were talking about it beforehand. She's like, I'm not going to go into the blocks. We don't believe in blocks.
So funny. Yeah, no, I get it though. Yeah, I have
Yeah.
like a natural desire to understand, right? So that's kind of like with my mission
Yeah.
is to really understand, the things that are difficult to understand, and I just need to remove that filter from from when it comes to, why am I not moving forward for X, Y, or Z thing in my life? It's true though. I do seek to understand to then take action from it, but it's not
Yeah.
of service and it's not useful when it comes to something like this.
Yeah, and I think most people do that, and I find them they're trying to figure out the why of, why are they doing this? And then they figure it out, but they still don't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Move first and the
Yeah.
universe follows. Move
Yeah.
first and magic happens.
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
I believe that's true.
yeah.
I'm going to experience it firsthand.
Yeah. So you look very different. You look brighter. Yeah. Your
Oh.
eyes are brighter. Like I said, your
Softer.
face is more relaxed and softer. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Much more in the element you can see of you.
Mm. Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. 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 Good. Well, do you have any other questions?
No, I don't think so. Yeah. I think I'm clear. I think it's good that I don't have a ton that I need to think about or integrate. I'm very clear. I have a plan. That's the first
Mhm.
step.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
feel like I don't even want to ask any more questions because
Yeah.
I'm clear on this. And I'm going to keep it simple for what we talked about and just take that step, move.
Yeah. Yeah, because you are in the collective as you go through, then you can begin to see through the programs as well, what is the next piece for you? I think that will stimulate ideas for you. The different programs and things will start to stimulate, oh, okay, this is what I want to do next. This is the next piece. Yeah.
Yeah. And for those of you listening who don't know what the collective is, that's our monthly membership program. It's courses that we go through together. We have bi-weekly calls and a community. You can check that out. We'll put it in the show notes, but it's wayofthemuse.com/collective. And Joy Dan's one of our amazing founding
One of our
early
first
members.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely love this course. This
Yeah.
program, this collective. It's very magical and I feel very honored to be a part of it.
Yeah. Nice.
Amazing.
Well, thank you so much for letting us work with you today. We really appreciate you. Yeah, just getting on here and being vulnerable and showing up. So thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and so receptive.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for inviting me.
This will help so many moms I know who are, and people probably who aren't mothers as well, who are sitting in that place. So
Yeah, or even women looking to become mothers.
Mothers, that's right. Yeah.
right on.
Yeah.
All right,
Thank you.
everyone. See you in the next episode. If you enjoyed this episode and you're curious about diving deeper, you will love The Collective, our monthly membership program. Think of this as the group of girlfriends you always wish you had, plus the coaching and support to step into the woman you're meant to be and the life and success you've been dreaming of. It includes powerful courses, live connection and coaching calls, and a community of like-minded women around the world, plus lots of other incredible bonuses. Every 8 to 10 weeks, we begin a new season focused on a topic like self-love, stepping into your bigger purpose, breaking through fear and self-doubt, or growing your success with more ease and flow. You can join the monthly membership for just $197 or sign up for the year and get an all-access course pass and enjoy huge savings on your annual membership. Learn more at wayofthemuse.com/collective.
That's our episode for today, but let's not make it the end of our love story. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast and think of some women in your life you'd love to share it with. And if you want to learn more about our events and programs, visit wayofthemuse.com. See you next time.